Evening all. So we're going to do a wrap up of Vanguard. So it's over, it's done, it's gone. They're continuing to work on it. I'm sure we've given them a substantial amount of feedback. And I think what I was going to do with this video is kind of give sort of thoughts that I had around it and maybe kind of my wish list of things. Overall, loved it. Like, seriously, there's not a lot I can actually complain about, although I'm sure I'll find something. But I've actually got to admit, I thought it was an incredibly good... I want to say it's a tech demo, but I don't mean that in an offensive way. It was one map spread across different weather systems, one gun, one suit, and the chipsets kind of interesting. But again, you know, a few kind of challenges around that, because honestly, I barely deployed with anything on the gun ever. Like I accumulated a massive pile of crap, none of which particularly I needed. Post and comments, have I got that wrong? Because, you know, you put things on the gun and it made it sort of more snipey and more kind of shooty. There you go, it's a good verb. But the reality of it is that it still didn't feel any different. Bit quicker, bit better, bit blah blah. But I still found the gun game exceptionally good. Like, I mean, at the core of it, it was really good. Like, I longed to get into gun battles. And I think that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because if there's any kind of friendly play in this game, I never experienced it. Every single person I met, anything that I could shoot, I shot at. I am literally that annoying, 8-year-old that plays, Call of Duty. So not a lot I can do. I mean, yeah, it was fun. I got a huge amount of fun from the game. And I'm kind of buoyed by it. I think, where is it going to take the whole Dust, Legion, Nova story? Let's see what happens, really. I think my kind of resulting experience was very positive. So post in the comments, tell me what you thought, and don't just go, Pyrex is a dick, although I imagine probably a lot of you are going to do that now. But tell me what you really thought. What did you like? What didn't you like? I think please also give that feedback to CCP, because my hope is that they do something with this, even if it's just an integrated component of Eve, which again would be amazing. I think I'd be over the moon with that, because the thing with Eve is it's always very dehumanized. It's always very you're a ship. That's what you are. You're a big floating ship in space, and you go around and do things and shoot things. And while there's nothing wrong with that, there's no human element to it. The walking in stations thing was an attempt to try and go that way. It's not like Star Citizen or X Foundations or the X games, where you are more of a human. In Eve, you're definitely a ship. And all you do is upgrade that ship into different bigger ships. It's a bit weird, actually, when you think about it. The pod concept is actually very good, though. So to me, this is kind of bridging the gap, which has always been an issue, I think, with Eve, is it's not personal. Everyone loves your ship. I personally love the Raven. But I think in this, you have a presence that hopefully they integrate into the bigger game. This was how I ended. This was my very last game, by the way, jumped into the core, because that's how men die. That's how we do it. I should probably put a disclaimer in here, because I'll tell you a funny story. I did a YouTube short stroke TikTok of a bit in this game where I knifed someone. And I think I say, Josh says to me, what do we do? We run out of ammo. Do we run? And I think I turn to him and say, no, we use knives like men. Well, the only problem with that is that at the moment is a big topic in London. So I did have a few people reach out to me and say, don't really appreciate that, because it maybe suggests knife crime, which is a huge problem in the UK. Because obviously in the UK we've still got kings, wizards, witches and bishops. Basically, we have an issue with knives here. So long story short, because again this could take the whole video, like in America you have gun problems, I guess, people shooting each other with guns. We don't have guns in the UK. Well, we do, but if you see somebody with a gun in the UK, it's like seeing a unicorn, with Lady Godiva on it naked. It's unheard of. Like, you just don't hear that. Although having said that, I went to a gun club in Birmingham only very recently, actually, and I did see an awful lot of guns. But I digress. And so knife crime is obviously terrible. Just want to really reiterate that. I'm not glorifying knife. Literally part of the video where I then knife someone. That's pure chance. I promise you, I didn't engineer that. Don't knife people. Don't carry knives. Don't use knives. Not that anyone listens to me, but I just felt as if I should probably put that message on there, because a few people reached out and said they did not appreciate that. So, sorry. Anyway, so Eve Vanguard, my overarching feeling is I miss it already. I enjoy it, and that's a good sign. You know, if you miss something, that shows you're fond of it. It's like your first girlfriend, you know, when you hold her hand down the mall, and you then kiss her goodbye, and off she goes, and then you're like, oh, I miss her. I want to be with her. And it's like that. That's how I feel about this game. I want to, you know, have weird adolescent hugs with this strange game that I love. So it's a weird thing, and I definitely find this this whole kind of tech demo as being quite good, quite fun. Loads of mileage yet, I think, on it. And this is probably where I get to start to worry now, because to be honest, are they going to throw any more resources at this than they already are? I don't think so, because with things like Eve Frontiers now publicly announced, so we can actually say it exists, I just think that's going to be where I think a lot of the focus of the game is. Because to me, that, again, I can't say too much, but that game feels like the next level of Eve, whereas this feels like an accompaniment to Eve. So my hope is that there's some merging somewhere. But yeah, overall, I think it was a solid gun game. I really enjoyed the missions. I think having things to do in the game just makes it very exciting. In fact, I'll give you a little bit of a tip, or rather a suggestion, because one of the games that I got recommended after Dust was Helldivers 2. And I actually I've not scratched that itch since literally I was told years ago about this game called Helldivers 2. And to me, that probably feels more of a continuation of the the Dust game than this. This feels like different. It feels a bit more like The Division, if I'm honest. It felt very much like a Ubisoft game, which is the highest of praise, believe me. Whereas Dust, to me, always felt a bit like Helldivers. And if you've never played it, I'll give you I'm going to do videos of it because I love it so much. But it's like a balls-to-the-wall group team PvE game, which is ridiculous, silly, stupid, and amazing all in the same breath. And I think that's what Dust was to me. It was ridiculous, but amazing fun. And I think games like Helldivers 2 are the sort of, you know, that's where maybe you go to get that itch scratched. But Vanguard, to me, is definitely going to be the place to go primarily, because I just think that you know, the way the game was, the way that it felt, the level design, I mean, look at what you're seeing here. It's unbelievably good. And again, my dream is to have something in orbit or some sort of spaceship versus spaceship thing. That would be really exciting. So I have hope. I really do. And I think, you know, I'm a very pessimistic person. I'm British. That's what we gave the world, was pure, unbridled, unfiltered pessimism. And I think in this particular case, genuinely, I did come into the test thinking, well, I've never played this game. I was not part of any VIP group or anything that I heard later. And I'm like, yeah, that shows I'm not very popular, does it? But my view of it is I completely fresh into the game. And I loved it. I really got a kick out of it. It felt good. It felt nice running around. And yeah, I liked it a lot. And I think there's not too much mileage, I think, to make this a shippable game. I think that feels good. Need more maps, need more kind of guns, I guess, or let's just say different chipsets or something. The gun thing is a problem. I don't like there's only one gun. I think the tech was brilliant. Things like the shields, the grenades, the signal beacons, these are all very good. This is exactly what you want. I mean, the Division was founded on the equipments that each class had. And I think that alone is going to be probably what they'll double down on here, is have more tech, because it's exciting, it's interesting. Little turrets, little drones, who knows? But to me, that's kind of, again, very exciting. The PvE game was solid. I actually really enjoyed, like, exploring. And I think, again, it's a wonder that, you know, I would log in, like you see here, this footage is just me playing solo, logging into the map and exploring bits of it. The bit I never really got into that much was the core. So I was kind of excited in the last day, because this was literally the last day, was to go and see what's going on in the core, you know, ran a few missions there, but did never really spend a lot of time there. And there's a lot of PvP there, which is, again, a good thing. So, you know, it was good. I liked it. I can't wait to see what they do with it next. We are going to do videos of it on this channel because, you know, we are a Dust channel. That's what we kind of were doing. And I think the game was thoroughly entertaining and thoroughly enjoyable. I wait to see really where they go with it now, because the reality of it is that there's probably a million different directions they could go. So actually they have the agony of choice now. They've got to figure out which way do you go, what do you try and do you keep it on the ground? I think they are going to keep it on the ground. I don't think we'll see ships, ship to ship combat. I think that's probably a bit beyond where this game is at the moment, but that's fine. I think what I want to just have is something that you get really kind of excited about. It has solid gun game, and again, already it's there, and I think it just then has that little bit of a polish. So for me, heavy guns, the heavy suits, things like that, that would be awesome. The ability to scout, the cloaking devices that, remember in Dust we had cloaks. These are all kind of amazingly cool things that you could do to then enhance different styles of play. At the moment, it's very much you deploy, you run around, you do missions. When you meet other players, it tended to be shooty, death, kill. But it would be nice if you maybe didn't have that everywhere. I mean, imagine an area where actually if you do shoot another player, sentry guns open up on you. So it's actually risky to do so. Something like that might be quite fun, because then it just forces, it's like changing gears on a car. You remember when cars used to have gearboxes? Yeah, I do, because I'm old. And that sort of, balls to the wall combat, then you run into an area and you're still like in a running gun fight with someone. And then you're in, like in Red Dwarf, it was the Justice Field. If you've never seen Red Dwarf, you should totally watch it. But the story behind that was, as soon as you enter the Justice Field, any kind of crime you commit on someone else happens to you. So if you steal from someone, something of yours goes missing. And if you hurt someone, then you're hurt. And obviously you can see where that goes, because if you shoot someone, you're dead. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. So something sci-fi, something fun, different. Again, nowadays you've got to have some different way to market your game. So this is why I think if you had like something, let's say like that in the game, which was different and sci-fi and funny and interesting, you would get people commenting on it. And let's face it, today's world is about getting people to comment and make content and do articles about your game or your device or your whatever it is. And so CCP, again, they can make as solid as game as they like, but if it doesn't have any kind of wow factor, or I won't say X factor because I despise Simon Cowell, then you're not actually going to get that kind of broadcast. So for me, that's it. It needs something with a little bit of sizzle, as I commonly say. And it's almost there. I think there's a lot of fun stuff in the game. It now just needs somebody who, whoever it is, to just say, right, let's add something fun, interesting, different. So for example, in Dust, think about it. They did this midway through the game as it was deployed. They added those jump modules. Do you remember that? Completely changed the game to a degree, but what a brave thing to do. Plus great sci-fi. That's what it needs. It needs this kind of, right, let's change direction. Okay, so here you go. Here you've got a crash ship. Let's all of a sudden make, I don't know, freezing cryogenic rain. Let's do something that gets people talking, creating TikToks, commenting, tweeting, whatever it is, because that's how you sell a game now. You need a journalist to come to you to say, I mean, this happened with Dust, didn't it? Where the journalists, the journos, came out to the content creators, which I hate to describe myself, and I was asked, along with Scott Manley, I've said this already, but the only thing they were interested in was, how is it connected to Eve? That connection, that's it. They didn't care about the game. They didn't really give that much of a hoot about it. What they cared about was this exciting new thing that actually might get clicks. That's what they need to do now. But there we go. My services are now rendered. So overall, my conclusion of the demo, or rather the playtest, the Groundbreak, was it was exceptionally fun. I missed the game already, and I can't wait for what comes next. I mean, at least they've got one sale from me, and I will quite happily be doing videos of this game for a long time. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.